Hi, my name is Jake Yosin, Project Coordinator for CANSAT Ghana. I'll be presenting on developing basic science and astronomy using experimental satellites, which was our project as CANSAT Ghana. So for our presentation, we're looking at the context of the project. We'll also be looking at our activities we carried out in the project. We'll look at our outcomes from the project and then our challenges we had. Then the last thing we'll look at is what's next for CANSAT Ghana. So for the context of our problem, we noticed that within the Ghanaian educational system, we do not have a formal curriculum for astronomy and space science. So with that, we're looking at having a project which applies a project-based approach to teach science, and our focus was using experimental satellites. Now with that, what we aimed to do was to teach them how to solve real-life problems using skills that they may have learned or new skills that they will develop, such as coding, electronics, space science, and the physics that they already know. So for our target audience, we were looking at high school students. We had an impression of 400 plus students, which is very good. We targeted the Ashanti region, the Eastern and the Upper East region, which are regions in Ghana. We had 27 schools in all, and the workshop was targeting, or the workshop and the trainings were targeting a team of 5 students. Now, for these 5 students, they were the core students, but we had other students come along and then learn also as they practice in school. So for our activities, we had a lunch on 6th May. Then we had a series of workshops, introductory workshops, followed by the final workshops. Then finally, we had the finals for the campaign where they launched their satellites. Now, this was done in Kumasi and Bolgatanga in the Ashanti and Upper East regions. So for our outcomes, for the student perception, we noticed that most 41% of the students in the survey found mathematics to be a little difficult. But after the campaign, that reduced to about 15%, whereas there was an increase in the number of students who found mathematics and science as not difficult, with an increase of 30%. Now, when it comes to students considering having careers in space science, engineering, and astronomy, mind you, these students are not all science-based students. Now, with that, we had about 58% before the campaign say that they are interested in having careers in space and in astronomy, and this increased to about 85% after the campaign, which was a very significant increase. Now, when we look at the number of students who consider which kind of learning preference they would like, the regular learning, which has to do with a lot of theory and cramming, was leading in at the beginning of the campaign, where most students were used to that kind of learning. But after we introduced the project-based learning, we noticed that had increased significantly after the project, after their experience in the campaign. Now we'll talk of our challenges. So our first challenge is the cost, which we had a significant increase in cost of materials, our components, and other things, which affected our projected budget. The next was in terms of our schedule. The schools were moving from post-COVID change in schedules to coming back to their normal regular schedules, which really affected how our schedules went throughout the project. Now, what's next for us? So we are looking to expand to another region where we have a project in the northern region. We've also received interest from other African countries for this project, like Eritrea and Ivory Coast. Now, with this, we are looking to move further and build on our success to be able to have students build CubeSats. Then the last thing is to ensure sustainability by establishing astronomy and space science clubs in the various schools. Thank you very much for having me.